Welcome to Football SAGAZ Podcast, where we just don't ask questions and we just don't watch football with question narratives. And we are going to the AFCON seasons where we just don't watch for the passion. We expect chaos, we expect the controversies. You understand everything? And the big question on everybody's lips is who are the favorites to win the AFCON? So I have a few questions I want to ask my colleagues around here. So first of all, Jay, do star players matter more than team chemistry in AFCON?
For AFCON, it boils down to team chemistry.
We have seen there are some teams in this AFCON and some countries in this AFCON where we see them like their team is filled with stars more than chemistry. I don't know if I'll say maybe Nigeria now. For example, now we see the team, they have more of big names,
individual stars,
and those players are not connecting. So do you think having big names in the squad matters more than the team chemistry?
No, it doesn't. Actually, team chemistry in AFCON is what works best. In maybe World Cup Euros, you might see big names rising to occasion, but in AFCON, over the years, it has proven that big names don't win AFCONs. It is team chemistry. Last time Nigeria won the AFCON team, Stephen Keshi, the late God rest his soul, Stephen Keshi. You saw Sunday Mbaboli.
Yeah.
Sunday Mbaboli was not a big name before the AFCON. You saw the only big name we had was Victor Moses, Emenike, Mikel Obi. We had those guys. If Ambrose, it was even the AFCON that was like a breakout game for him. He got the deal to Celtic. So team chemistry, playing as a team, is what boosts you in the AFCON. If you watch Sadio Mane in Senegal, he's not playing like Sadio Mane in Liverpool. He's not coming to score all the goals. Sadio Mane normally falls deep and allows Ismail Sarr and the rest to function properly. Because in the AFCON, you have to play as a unit to win. Look at Ivory Coast that won the last AFCON. They didn't have the best team. They didn't have the best striker. They had Sebastian Sahala as their striker back then. So team chemistry is what matters the most in AFCON.
Okay, so football press though, I definitely have a very, very interesting question for you. In AFCON, let me say, in Euros, we see when teams, as in countries, come out to play, we see them having, they have these great managers all over Europe. And, to win the Euros, you guys work with the tactics. Your tactics have to be very, very excellent. But in AFCON now, we're seeing something different. Most times, the tactics don't really work out well. You might have an excellent manager and the team doesn't work out. Do you think is AFCON more about tactics or the mentality?
African football, is something very, very different from the kind of football that we know in Europe.
Yeah, that's very true.
One thing about African football is all about physicality.
Yeah, sure.
So believe me, Oyibo, they call them white folks. They are not for their own tactics, thing. And Africa, we know from our physical, our power, our strength. So now, for me personally, I'll go with it's all about mentality, that physicality. That's what I've come about.
I know the last World Cup that was played, we saw how Morocco was able to get into the semi-final. I know that's really helped them a lot. That's helped change the way people view Morocco now. I know the team is there, as in they have this chemistry.
Yes.
All of a sudden now they are connecting as a team. I know they don't really have big names in their squad. They have a few though, but and they are hosting this current AFCON. Do you think this them hosting this AFCON is going to play a big part in them winning it?
One thing about football, maybe you're playing for your team or you're playing for your country. It comes from the heart. And you have to play togetherness. Nigeria now we play individual football. That is the reason why we did today. So, and remember, Morocco, when you watch them play, you see you see the connection, the bond.
Yeah.
They play this kind of football, alongside each other. Even those who know really they play for different clubs, but they train together, and that's something we say my country lack. So I feel like Morocco, I think then even though that performance for that 2022 World Cup, you don't help them, you don't make people come to see in a very different dimension. And one thing about Morocco, you see, I just thought they play their own football. No pressure, the best player, but not really beat it like that. So they play with less pressure. But they know the reason why they play this football. They know why they are here.
Okay.
So I feel like Morocco is one for me. They don't get pressure because forget the host time. They're already making for themselves. Even though they don't really go far, but the way they play, the way you like they give their best. Let me put it that way. So I feel like no pressure for them.
Okay, so Jay, Morocco, they are the first African country to get into the semi-final of the World Cup. And that has really shaped the way people view their team. Do you think that milestone we were able to hit is we had pressure or will make them stronger in this AFCON? They are also hosting the AFCON. Do you think it's going to add more pressure to that team?
Just like my colleague said, there's no pressure for Morocco. Actually, the outcome in the World Cup, reaching the semi-finals, actually gave them more more momentum, more morale, because they just won the Arab Cup recently.
Yeah, that's true.
Likes of Saudi Arabia played it, Jordan and some other countries like from the Middle East, Asian side, some of them, they played this thing. And Morocco won this thing without some of their key names. They've proven to themselves and to the world now that they are now a unit. They are enjoying and basking in the whole success they've been having. And then, when you look at Morocco as a hosting nation, North African countries, they are tactically good. So they have the team chemistry going for them. Now they have tactics also working for them. So they are coming back. They are coming to this competition as not just a host, but one of the favorites. So it's more like just like no pressure. It's even like morale for them. Like we just reached the semi-final of the World Cup. Playing alongside the biggest club that the world has to offer, and we just finished winning the Arab Cup. No way. There's no way that Morocco is going to come to this AFCON and then have pressure. In fact, as the hosting nation, there's zero pressure. They have been playing comfortably. For them to even go to that Arab Cup, it shows that they have no pressure in this AFCON. They even see the AFCON as just another competition they will compete in ahead of the World Cup.
Okay, so we are going to be seeing Egypt going to this World Cup. There have been a lot of talks about Mohamed Salah of late, and we all know currently the form is not what we all expect from him, as in not what we expect from him. He's a top player. He's one of the best players from Africa to ever play in England. But he's currently not in his peak anymore. Do you think it's going to affect Egypt in the AFCON?
Okay, for me, Egypt don't really need peak Salah anymore. They have Omar Mamouche, they still have Trezeguet, they still have some key players. They have Hegazi. They still have some key players that can function for them. What Egypt needs is not to rely on Salah. Just like Senegal. Senegal don't rely on money. They play through money, not for money. When they want to build up play, they can play through money. But the final balls don't go to money. The final balls go to players like Islam Sarr. So that's the same thing Egypt needs to adopt for Salah.
But do you think Salah current form is going to affect them?
I feel like Salah is coming to this AFCON. People don't know. Salah is coming to this AFCON with a chip on his back. With his own greatest African player to play for, to play in the EPL, one of the world-class players, the best players in the world.
Okay.
He still has not shown that level of class for the national team for Egypt.
Okay.
So he's coming with a chip on his back. You see, the Salah, that's where he's now going to make a mistake. If he comes in like Mane, he's going to succeed. He's going to even do way, way, way.
Should we be expecting like a monster mentality from him in this AFCON?
We should be expecting a leadership mentality, not a monster mentality. Because at his age, he's not going to do he's not going to carry the ball, dribble 100 people. So he needs to come in as a leader, make other players around him better, not play for himself.
Okay, so football president, with Nigeria, we saw Nigeria go into the last AFCON and they were not able to get the trophy. They lost to Ivory Coast 2-1. And we know the manager he resigned from the job after losing the AFCON. I know now Nigeria have a new manager in Eviche. I know how outstanding that manager is. He's a very, very good coach. So do you think he is the right manager to take Nigeria into this AFCON and get that trophy?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, I think the one of the hardest coaching job in Nigeria is one of the hardest country to coach, because Nigeria no country we say if Nigeria come for you, bro, pray for your life, because you come with a lot of insults, bash,
political interference.
Exactly. So, and we judge based on what people we don't do it before they do. Okay. Because Nigeria country is almost so many people they very, very judgmental. Even those they don't do what they do, but first you must watch what they do. So I feel like I don't see him if he can get hold of that Nigeria pressure. And now Nigeria country, what Super Eagles lately, we don't play as a team. We play individual football, and I don't see us going far for this for this AFCON. Even though I don't know if you blame El Chief, because that man, I think he don't try. He came into the what's it called, to the World Cup qualifier. Although say I don't know if you blame that man currently, because that man in the try, but I blame him for our last game though against Congo. But honestly, I feel like he will try his best for me. I don't see him, if he come out well, fine. If he doesn't, I don't go blame him, because the Super Eagles, the NFL don't already pollute. That place is already polluted already. So it will take time for you to see the Super Eagles come. But I wish them the good. I wish them the best though.
We saw this man. What's his name? Trust Ekong. He retired in this for this before the AFCON started. I know it's going to be a great miss for us. And do you think that will put pressure on star players like Victor Osimhen? He has not won anything for Nigeria yet. For his national team, he has not won anything currently for them. And I know he's putting out this outstanding performance every game, but I don't know why he's yet to win a trophy to prove that yes, he's the king himself. So do you think this AFCON? I know there are a lot of countries in top form. The players are in top form. Do you think this AFCON is a chance for him to prove himself more better and maybe get into the final and grab the trophy? The last AFCON, Nigeria got into the final, but they were not able to win it. Due to I don't know what happened. But currently the spark in these players. Do you think it's going to reflect in the way they play for the national team? We see them for their clubs, their different clubs, the likes of Iwobi, Chukwueze, Calvin Bassey, Onyedikachi. So all those players, do you think they can put the impact they are putting their clubs in this national team?
I think for Nigeria to work, first let me go back to your Ekong. Ekong is a very fantastic player, but honestly, is he a great player in Nigeria? No, for me.
Do you think it will be a big miss?
I don't see seeing a miss for me, because I think if Adibin he has won something for Nigeria, I would say a big miss for us. But for me,
the last AFCON he played his heart out for us.
Waiting will make you be a hero. Now we have Messi for Barcelona, we have Ronaldo for Benfica, now waiting based on what he don't do.
Okay.
So I fine. Listen to my word. I say, but now very fantastic player. He has done well, but for me, he will be ego for Nigeria. So maybe we go for one to go for an ego.
Okay, so with Victor Osimhen.
And for me, to the players, I feel like we just have to drop one thing here. We have to drop that. It's time for us to drop that ego.
Yeah, I see that. That's very true.
And learn how to play togetherness football. Play together, train together. Forget say you good, you get sneak by sabi shoot, bro. Even Osimhen, I'm saying this message now. Although you really good when it comes to scoring goals on that attacking side, but sometimes are they very happy with Osimhen, and other the players too. If now say sometimes even say if you do this thing, give person and do am. Now what they make now what the team be that. So this Morocco shit we very very good, Senegal and the rest. They let's give people space. I can do this in both. Me say drum. You go give the confidence. You go build. You go make up now. We play as a team. Even though our opponent, South Africa, they don't see Nigeria. They get started people for different country of the world, different part of the world for the top teams. But they play individual football. And can't go like this. So I feel like if the player can drop that ego a little bit and play, play together. Play together as one. As she was going far.
Okay, so Jay, what can you say about this Nigeria team going into the AFCON? Do you think we should expect much from them in this AFCON?
For Nigeria, it has always been zero expectation from me. I don't watch AFCON. I don't watch AFCON, and I say I'm looking forward to what Nigeria will do. And the reason is this: I will not blame you. Are saying Victor Osimhen? No, Victor Osimhen is actually what Victor Osimhen plays for Nigeria is actually the most underrated. Victor Osimhen is still not respected enough for me in Nigeria. I watch Nigeria play on few occasions. Victor Osimhen will hold up play, try to free up and meet the runs of Samuel Chukwueze or Ademola Lookman. But when the ball gets to these wingers, what do they do with the ball? You see them go to their clubs, they have discipline. They come to Nigeria, they are indisciplined. Yes, we can blame corruption, we can blame whatever that is going on, NFF and the background, but we've seen them play. NFF is not with you kicking that ball. When push comes to shove, you have to do watch your talent and hard work.
So you think them having all these lapses is due to their indiscipline?
It's due to indiscipline, and it still boils down to the coach. You have to instill indiscipline to your player. Look at Moses Simon. In a game where we need to score, you are holding up the play, going to the wing, doing what are you doing your legs for? Find your nearest man, play football. See, football is not about, when you come to African football, it's not about how many people you can do leg over for. Football is all about impose yourself into the game. A whole Congo, they have only Yvonne Wissa from Brentford as their super player, and yeah, they could beat us, pocket us, as if we don't know what we are doing. We have Ademola Lookman that's scored a hat-trick for Atlanta in the finals. First African player to do that, or even first player to do that in Europa League history. Then we have Victor Osimhen, that is one of top 5 best strikers in the world currently. You cannot take it away from him.
Yeah,
and with all these excuses, with all these players, we still have excuses. It boils down to the indiscipline of specific kind of players that should not even be putting on the jerseys anymore for Nigeria. So unlike Moses Simon, a very talented, fast, quick player, but final third, like the ball to the final third, he plays as if when he comes to making that final touch, he loses his whole IQ. He makes good runs, but do the final touch is a problem. So indiscipline as such, if it does not end in the Nigerian national team, we cannot win nothing.
Okay, so now I want to give me your top 4 countries who you think are favorites to win this AFCON.
Okay, Morocco, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Egypt.
Morocco, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Egypt. What about you, football president?
Me, I'll go with probably if Greece find Nigeria, because na Greece we got to go to Mokpo because our coaches say everything. See, they use voodoo for us. No could use our own. I'm saying this message in Nigeria. All the wishes that we have in our country. Time to impose your own now. Bring your own. Come outside. So I feel I'll go with Senegal, Morocco, and Nigeria, and lastly, I'll go for probably Senegal.
Senegal,
Morocco, Nigeria,
and I love
Congo.
No, we're not underrating Algeria.
Algeria, God bless Algeria.
Okay, so first time for me, I'll go for Nigeria first, Morocco, then I'll go for Egypt and Algeria. I don't see Senegal performing that much in this AFCON.
Hold on, you the host. Why do you put Nigeria first when you know that Nigeria will not have what it takes to win this AFCON yet?
I feel
they're not stable.
No, I know. You know, we saw what we played the last AFCON. So I feel these players should have figured out their lapses and they will be able to correct that in this current AFCON. So who do you think is like the most overrated country in this AFCON? That people are looking up to, like, but they might not live up to their expectation.
Overrated. There's no overrated for me in this because there's no country that you're looking at. You cannot say Morocco because Morocco, they are not the country that play with pride. If it was the Ivory Coast or maybe them, Yaya Toure, that set, you can say those kind of countries are the ones that are overrated. But these ones, the Ivory Coast we are seeing today, you cannot mention 5 big players that you feel that they play with pride. Ivory Coast is a hungry country right now.
That's very true.
They are playing. If they drop Nicolas Pepe to show that they don't want, it's not big names here. If you are not willing to come and toy for your national team, we don't need you. So if they can drop Nicolas Pepe, who is in a very good form, the best player for Villarreal currently, it means that no pride. So everybody for me in this AFCON, the AFCON is one to look out for. In fact, it's Nigeria that I feel that is overrated because Nigeria should not even be in the conversation for top 5. Why? Based on what metrics? That you cannot qualify for the World Cup and all of a sudden you want to be AFCON favorites. So Nigeria is even the team that you can look at and say, they are overrated for this team. Okay,
so football president, who do you think is getting knocked out early in this AFCON?
Our neighbor here now. Ghana
not qualified for the AFCON.
I feel like Benin sharp now.
Benin Republic.
Benin sharp now. Benin give quick sharp.
But they disturb us.
So let's leave that to our fans. Let you guys decide who do you think are the favorites.
No bias.
Don't be biased.
Nigeria, can they do it?
You think Nigeria can do it? Do you think Nigeria can win this AFCON?
So still really there.
See, AFCON not be by 5 boys, so not go support Nigeria.
I see on a video. Una go so material. Green, they go Nigeria.
No, my decision I should be the one go do for them.
So, subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.
Ojodo Oba.